Before digital sensors were even invented, I was using black and white film, and I was using that for all of my work. Whenever digital came about, I was never really happy with digital. That was until I used my first monochrome sensor camera, and then suddenly I was happy to stay with digital. But I still do come back to film from time to time, especially in the summer with the abundance of light that there is. But why even bother with film whenever we have all the conveniences of digital? My name's Paul Reed. Welcome to the channel. I do seem to get a little bit of a backlash whenever I mention my approach to photography. So my approach to photography, or rather the gear that I use, is usually for digital. It's monochrome sensor cameras, and then also I do love shooting film as well. And both of those things, a lot of people can't understand why you would put yourself through that, why you would limit yourself in those ways. But to get the photography that I love, that approach has really worked well for me. So you may not understand it, but that's a fact. Firstly, a little bit of a game for you. So I was visiting these gardens in Scotland, these amazing gardens, and the owner was actually walking around and he was showing various things that he loved in the gardens, and I wanted to take his portrait. So I had the M246 with me, which is a monochrome sensor camera, and I also had my M6 with me, which I had some BWXX, that's a cine still film in there. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just, these portraits that I did of him, I'm going to just throw them all together and I'm going to show you them. And I just want to see if anybody knows which is film and which is digital. And look, a lot of you will get it right because the grain is always there on the film stuff, of course, but a lot of you'll get it right. But then also, have you got a preference? And obviously beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so there is no wrong opinion of this, but have a look at these images, see if you can tell which are film and which are digital. I'll let you know at the end of this video so you can see if you were right. My approach, whether it's with monochrome sensor or film or black and white film, the approach is really the same. So I'm out there looking at things for light and shadow and the shades of grey, blacks and whites. I'm not thinking about the colour at all. So the approach is really the same whether it's monochrome sensor or film for me. One of the things that film gives me that digital doesn't is like this other level of enjoyment during the process. It just goes up a few notches whenever I'm using mechanical cameras like the M6. Just, you know, loading that film of your choice and just the click of the shutter, winding on each frame. There's a connection to each moment whenever you do that. I did this little shoot of Khadija at the weekend and she was fantastic as always, but I did it on film. And the one thing that I realized whilst I was doing those photos was I was staying in the moment, really staying in the moment, because I wasn't chimping or like having a look at each image. So there's no digital screens going on there for me to like come away and start looking to see what I'd got already, to see if I was on the right lines. Instead, it was all just about me and her and that photo shoot, and I just enjoyed it so much shooting with the Leica M6. The other thing as well is what I've realized is whenever I'm shooting film, there's way more keepers. I get way more out of one roll of 36 exposure film than say if I shot 100 or 200 photos with a digital camera, because you're really caring about each shot. You've got time to think about what your next shot is while you're winding it on, and that is just fantastic. I'll show you these photos of Khadija now. The magic doesn't end once I've done a shoot with film, because normally as soon as I get home I develop the films, and that's become a real pleasure for me, developing films, since I ended up getting the Argo film processor, because then I was such a messy developer and I used to do it all in a dark room. But now what I do is I use the Argo film processor, and I can do that just sitting around. It's really sunny here at the moment and I just wanted to sit outside and relax whilst I develop those films. So it's just so much easier with something like that. Every time that I see that developed film for the first time, whenever I roll the film out and just look to see that all of those photos have actually came out, it never ceases to amaze me that this even works. But it is such a magical experience seeing all those images. What I do then is I hang those films up in my shower to dry, because there's no dust in there or anything, and I barely ever get dust on my 35mm negatives, so that must be the shower thing. Now at that point, of course, I've already got something physical to hold, so it's not just immediately going into the digital world. But of course, I'm gonna want to get those images out there on Instagram and things like that, so I am gonna have to somehow get those into the digital world, although I probably will be printing them in an analog way afterwards. I use one of these Plustech Optic Film 8100s to scan all my 35mm film in, and this has been just a really great thing for me. I used to use one of those copy stands, and I used to use kind of like the DSLR method of scanning things in, and it is much quicker, like as in the scans are done much quicker. But I got sick of kind of setting that stuff up all of the time. Every time I was going to be wanting to scan some negatives in, it kind of took a lot of space up. Whereas this thing here just sits here on the desk, and whilst the scanning takes longer, as in the scans, you know, it takes a while for it to scan in, but I can do other things whilst each negative, whilst each frame is being scanned. You don't have to just watch it being scanned. And with this just by my side, I can just click forward onto the next frame and scan the next negative. I've got no complaints about this scanner at all. This is a great scanner. Although I know a lot of people use the Nikon Coolscan 5000, that's an older scanner, and a lot of people swear by that scanner. So if you've got one of those, tell me what's the difference, like how much better is one of those scanners, because the results that I'm getting from this has been fantastic. What that leaves me with is a raw file, which I'll then put into Negative Lab Pro, and then I'll create a TIFF file and then do just the rest of my edit the same way that I would any digital file. The difference is now I can still use that negative, and I can go into my darkroom and I can make a print. So if there's anything really good that I've done, I can do a print of that in my darkroom onto fiber-based warm tone paper that look absolutely fantastic with amazing tonal range, just beautiful prints made in the traditional manner. So that in a nutshell is what film gives me, and that's not even talking about the look of film and the grain structure and all of that sort of thing. It just gives me sheer enjoyment from the shoot right up until printing the photos. But what does digital give me that 35mm film doesn't? Well, the first thing that my Q3 monochrome will give me is a lot of resolution. So that's a lot of resolution to play with afterwards. So if I wanted to crop something afterwards, then I've got plenty of room to do that. You don't really want to be cropping in on 35mm film. That does make you shoot things a lot more, I guess, correctly at the time rather than trying to fix it later whenever you shoot in film. But digital definitely will give you resolution over 35mm film. Of course, the other thing that digital is always going to give is convenience. You don't have to take all the time to do all of the stuff what I've just mentioned in this video. You can just get those images immediately. You can look at those photographs immediately on the back of your camera, and also just looking through mirrorless camera viewfinders, you can get like a real world look as to what the exposure and everything is going to be like. So it's just way easier to shoot digital than it is film. There's more room for error on the exposure as well on digital monochrome sensor cameras. Of course, if you start to blow the highlights on monochrome sensor cameras, then yeah, that is actually going to be a problem. So you're going to want to underexpose with monochrome sensor cameras. The opposite is true for film. Normally you're maybe going to want to expose by half a stop over or something like that, just to be sure, because film loves light. The dynamic range is really on the highlight side of things on 35mm film, so you're going to really want to make sure that you're shooting more for the shadows than the highlights with film. We really still can't say whether digital is better than film or film is better than digital. Of course, there's going to be preferences. People prefer different things. So if resolution, speed, extreme high dynamic range, then yeah, I mean, a monochrome sensor camera, that's going to do all of that for you. But then there's others that really want that hands-on approach, that really want to kind of make that image along the way. Look, you don't have to choose one or the other. I would say try film out because it is a lot of fun, but you can do both. There's nothing to stop you from doing that and just taking good things from both. Just a reminder, before I show you those images again and show you which were digital and which were film, and you can see if you were right, Monochrome Portraits Volume 2, there's a few copies left. People are saying that this is better than Volume 1. So you don't need Volume 1, by the way, to get Volume 2 of Monochrome Portraits. But a lot of people are saying that this one's even better, and I'm really pleased with that, because you would hope that as you do more books that you do evolve, that you do get better, and that obviously the photography gets better as well. So I'll put a link in the description to that. I'm going to be doing some, tutorial videos on the membership channel on film developing and processing, and then also scanning, all of that side of things. So if you're interested in that, or you just want members exclusive videos, then make sure that you join the YouTube channel. There's a small amount to pay. I think it's like £5 a month or something like that. But you are going to get exclusive videos there, and not only that, you're helping this channel stay alive. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.